Greeting and good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for being here in this morning on the TRC International Conference 2021 on the topic of empowering policy implementation on the tobacco control. As the Chairman introduced, my name is Dr. Bundit, and I will serve you as a MC or moderator with Ajahn Navarat Jalankha, who is an Associate Professor at Mahidol University, Faculty of Public Health, will serve as a chairman in this symposium section. And let me introduce Ajahn Navarat briefly. Ajahn Navarat, Dr. Navarat basically has a BS degree at Mahidol University, an MS degree and PhD at the Public Health from University of Hawaii, USA. She worked as an environmental health specialist. Her expertise involve water and air quality, environmental design, and priority setting in her tobacco research. She has conducted a lot of community-based intervention study, clinical case control study, and also school clinic smoking cessation research, and document and policy-relevant research in Thailand. A lot of her work related with a team of researchers in her faculty on tobacco-related research, on the second-hand smoker exposure, tobacco industry interference, crop replacement of tobacco production, and compliance and legal enforcement through policy and practice in Thailand. She has worked with a lot of US and Canadian researchers on multi-country cooperative study of environmental exposure. She has received research award from Ministry of Public Health and Tobacco Control Research and Knowledge Management Center in Thailand. She served on the WHO expert committee that assesses Thailand National Plan and Health formulate its present national strategic plan. She also served on committee of the Ministry of Public Health for National Strategic Plan on Tobacco Control in Thailand. She has been member of the SRNT, or Society for Research on Nicotine and Tobacco, since 2005 and has been an active member since then. She also served many activities and many meetings, and she has attended or present research in nearly every SRNT meeting in United States. Through 2019, she was also Asian, African, Oceania, and Latin America representative of SRNT in 2014 to 2016. And before we starting our symposium section, I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Sornpaisarn, our special guest from Canada. He working on the Center for Addiction and Mental Health Tobacco and Control. His topic today will be cessation method and factor influencing successful smoking cessation in Thailand, a case study control. Dr. Bundit got a Doctor of Medicine degree from Faculty of Medicine, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, and diploma from Thai Board of Psychiatry. Later on, he got his master degree in mental health from Bloomberg School of Public Health, Johns Hopkins University, USA, and PhD degree in social and behavioral health science from Dalai Lama School of Public Health, University of Toronto, Canada. Dr. Bundit has been for years the Deputy CEO of Thai Health Promotion Foundation, Thailand, with responsibility to work on the topic of NCDs and NCD risk factor control, including control of tobacco, alcohol, unhealthy diet, and physician inactivity. He currently is a project science working at the Center of Addiction and Mental Health, Canada. Dr. Bundit has been working for years with several research centers funded by Thai Health Promotion Foundation, focusing on topic of tobacco, alcohol, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity control. He worked execute with the Mental Research Center, cover knowledge generation and translation for policy advocacy, diseases, and risk behavior surveillance, as well as working progress monitoring and outcome evaluation. He was closely involved with evidence-based policy advocacy for enacting the Alcohol Control Act 2008 and the Tobacco Control Act 2017 in Thailand. He observed that the smoking prevalence in Thailand had reduced prominently after the first tobacco control law acted in 1992, but has been stable since 2007. He realized that the country has to encourage smoking cessation and implanted the idea of tobacco control law to the future in order to reduce the prevalence of smoking in Thailand. Hence, he worked to collaboratively with all tobacco control alliance, including Thai Ministry of Public Health and all Thai Health College, to promote smoking cessation under the policy, namely 3 million smoking quitter in 3 years. He has been researching promoting smoking cessation in Thailand. So please help me welcoming him into the state. For his cessation method and factor influencing successfully smoking cessation in Thailand case study, Dr. Bundit, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pititpong. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the organizing committee that allowed me to present this study. So I would like to share to you. I will try to keep it short. Can you see the slide? I hope you already see the slide, right? Right? Okay, I continue. Okay, today the topic is the cessation method and factors influencing successful smoking cessation in Thailand.
We can see the slide.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, okay, thank you. A case control study. So this is the name of our colleague about this study. Okay, I would go to by the first item about rationale, and then study design method, and then the result, and finally
Dr. Bundit, could you please extend the slide to be full screen? It will be easier for us to see.
Thank you. Is it better?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for the rationale of this study, you can see the conclusion in 3 bullet points on the right-hand side. The first, that we have comprehensive tobacco control policy. If you see the graph, it is tobacco prevalence, smoking prevalence in Thailand from 1991 to 2017. This is the last survey. Actually, we have another survey on 2020, but the result not come out yet. So the prevalence reduced from 32% until 20.7% in 2009. But after that, it's quite stable until 2017. So you can see the vertical line is about policy in Thailand. 1989, we have total tobacco advertising ban. And after that, 1992, we have the first comprehensive tobacco control law, which includes advertising ban and also smoking prohibition in public places measures. And then 2004, we have editorial health warning. Then 2005, we have point of sale tobacco display ban. And then in 2020, we have the new tobacco control law, which includes all control measures in the past and add many other. And one very significant is the plain packaging measure. It contains this measure, but not enacted yet. It's wait until the government would like to have it. And then we have increased tobacco tax continuously from 55% to 90% between 1992 to 2020. We have many tobacco control laws, but we have reduced the prevalence for the first 18 years, but after that 12 years, and if we count to this year, it's about 20 years, and we have stable in the last 15 years. So based on, and the last based on the National Smoking Survey in 2017, among successful ex-smokers, 94% use unaided methods. They quit by themselves, and only 6% use aided methods, for example, taking medication. So our research objective is to examine what factors really influencing successful smoking cessation, so that we can use that to design program of policy to reduce further of the prevalence in Thailand. So the study design, we use the case control study, comparing the last quit attempt between the successful and unsuccessful quitters. We collect the data from 16 villages, from 16 sub-districts, 4 districts, and 2 provinces in southern part of Thailand. These are 2 of the top 10 provinces that have highest rate of adult tobacco smoking in Thailand. This is the case of the province. In the village, village health volunteer help us screen all adult 15 years and older. If they have at least 10 stick smoking in lifetime and have ever smoked every day once in lifetime and have at least 1 tobacco quit once in lifetime, measured by at least stop smoking 1 day. So all these 3 criteria would be eligible for our participants. And then we would ask them about, our researcher asked them about current smoking behavior. If they are not currently smoke and stop for more than 6 months, they are our successful quitters. If they stop smoking but less than 6 months, they are not eligible to our study. And then for the ones who are currently smoke, after they have quit at least 1 attempt in their lifetime, they will be our control. So we have 284 cases and 837 controls. Totally it's 1,121 participants. And then this is our research question. What are factors influencing the successful smoking cessation in community level in Thailand? The outcome would be successful and unsuccessful smoking cessation. And then predictor, we have socio-demographic data, smoking behavior, cessation method, and stopping technique, and motivation and withdrawal symptoms, and technique that the smoker use during the nicotine withdrawal phase and the relapse prevention phase, if they can pass the withdrawal phase. And then other influencing factors. The data analysis, we use multiple logistic regression. So this is the characteristic of our sample. This is the column is the successful quitter, and this is unsuccessful quitter. So you can see the successful quitter is older, and the sex is the same. You can see the p-value here. The marital status is the same. The occupation, successful quitter contain more unemployment, and unsuccessful quitter have more freelance labor and merchant. And the place of residence and the income is not different. The smoker, the successful quitter are more of occasionally smoking, and they use more of cigarette, while unsuccessful quitter use more of roll your own. And since both of them use unaged method, and if they use unaged method, one who use stop abruptly have more successful instead of slowly cut down. And among successful quitter, they was recommended by doctor because of their fitness to stop smoking. And this is the characteristic of our participants. And then we go to do logistic regression. We do basic modeling of logistic regression, include the demographic data and smoking behavior and sickness in the fundamental model, and then we add each potential successful factor one by one, because we cannot put them all into one model, because some of them are dependent to each other, because when people do something, they do some other thing too, so that we couldn't put all factors into one model, but we check every single factor adding to the basic model and see which factor is has statistically significant. So the first we see that old people aged more than 60 years have 10 times of the odds of success, and unemployment has 2 times. And for smoking behavior, you can see that if the smoker smoke occasionally, not regularly, they have increased the odds of success 9 times. And if they use cigarette, not blow your own, the chance of success 3 times. For the cessation method, that you can see that both of them use unaided, so they quit by themselves. But if they could stop abruptly, they could have a chance of 2.7 times of success. For the motivation, if the doctor recommends the smoker who have sickness, like a hypertension, something like that, so the chance increase 2.7 times. And if they have a child, the chance increase 2 times. If they have a grandchild, the chance increase 2.2 times. And for the withdrawal symptom during the nicotine withdrawal phase, if they have insomnia, they reduce the chance of success more than 1/3. And if they have a good appetite, hungry, they have increase the odds of success 2 times. For the technique used during nicotine withdrawal period, if they exercise, this is a very good strategy. If they exercise, they increase the chance of success 2 times. If they engage in leisure activities instead of smoking, they increase the chance of success 1.5 times. And this is the technique used during relapse prevention. This is only the one who can pass the nicotine withdrawal period. So you can see work, be persistent, smell balm. Instead of smell smoke cigarette, they smell balm instead, or exercise, or avoid smoker, avoid exposure to tobacco products such as throw away tobacco products. All these increase the chance of success. But this thing not helpful during the nicotine withdrawal period. But after, in that period, they have to use exercise. But after that, it's all really helpful. And for the other potential factor can be divided into positive and negative. For the positive, if the smoker have self-efficacy, they confident in themselves in successful cessation, or smoking prohibition in workplace, or unpleasant smell of smoking, or smoking prohibition in the public places, or expensive tobacco, all these are positive factors. And the negative factor is that if the smoker feels stress or associating their smoking with a habit, social pressure to smoke, like someone asks them to smoke, or smoking connected pressure, they feel like that if they smoke, it's going to be happy, something like that. So all this is negative. So the last slide is conclusion. This knowledge can be used for designing tobacco cessation program and enhancement policy. So potential successful quitters are old people aged more than 60 years old, are occasional smokers, or use cigarettes rather than blow your own. All this has potential to success in that quitting. And appropriate cessation method. Most of both successful and unsuccessful smokers use unaided method, may be more accessible or more convenient. So even though we have many studies showing that aided method is better than unaided, but actually in the real life, the successful quitter use a lot of unaided methods. So we have to promote both aided and unaided methods. And stop abruptly is better if the smoker use unaided method. And powerful motivation is doctor recommendation due to smoker sickness or having a child or grandchild. So if this is really important when the NCD people, NCD patient come to the NCD clinic, that is the chance to motivate them to quit. Or even in the well-baby clinic, if the doctor or nurse asks the father to quit or grandfather to quit smoking, that is a good chance of his making a decision. And a good technique during the nicotine withdrawal period is exercise, engage in visual activity. And during relapse prevention phase is work, be persistent, smell balm, exercise, avoid smoker, and avoid tobacco products. And positive predictor of successful quitting with appetite and present smell of smoking after quitting, self-efficacy, smoking prohibition in workplace and public places, and extensive tobacco. So this can encourage that the tobacco control policy is helpful, not only reduce accessibility to tobacco products, but also enhance the successful quitting. And the negative predictor is insomnia, stress, associating smoking with the habit, social pressure to smoke, and social connected pressure. So all this can be used to decide the cessation program and enhancement policy. And this is a nice picture of Thailand. If we have less of COVID, please come to see by yourself. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bundit, for your presentation. It's very interesting topic. I would love to ask you a few questions. What do you think will be the way to promote unaided method? You say that they are both aid and unaided method, and somehow unaided method also show that the people can use unaided method to stop smoking or cessation successfully. So because you work with policy and also help promoting many things for this, what will be your suggestion for the people who try to do unaided method?
Yeah, thank you. This is a good question. I think I have to answer like a step by step. The first is if you want to promote smoking cessation, it's like first you have to convince the smoker to quit, and then what method should be used. So the first thing that you have to let smoker think about the bad side of smoking and the good side of stop smoking, right? But what the information from this study said that the unaided also useful. And even though many studies say that aid method is better, which is true because compared to unaided. But the problem is the aid method is maybe hard to access. So the reality is we should promote both ways, and this depends on the convenience of the smoker. They can decide which one they want. So first step, convince the smoker to stop first, and second, let them have a choice. They can access to medication, they can access to counseling, they can access to telephone counseling, or even they want to stop by themselves, which is maybe more convenient for them. So this study shows that what factor may be helpful if they decide to stop by themselves. For example, they can do exercise. They can, when they pass the nicotine withdrawal phase, they should do other things. For example, working or smell balm or many other things. So this is the answer your question. First, to convince the smoker to stop, we have many campaigns, we have educating, and the good moment is when they get sick and go to hospital. That is the prime moment. Or they have child or grandchild, that is the prime moment. So we should encourage, convince them at that moment. And then if they decide to stop by themselves, we can suggest the detail of the technique.
Oh, that's a very good way. And also, based on your work, you can come with the factor, a lot of factor, and one of factor you show that the doctor encouragement or doctor recommendation, especially for the sick people, is very important. I mean, do you have any way to promote this idea to the hospital or any public health, Ministry of Public Health, to enforce this idea?
Yeah, this is also a good question. So I think first is the basic is give information to the doctor, to the nurse. Many times, we don't have hard evidence, but if like this study, if we show them that this is a real person from Thailand, and the successful leader do like this, and it's clearly have more advantage. So first, give the information to the health personnel who are working now. The second, give information to the student, doctor student, nurse student, health personnel student in the university. Let them learn when they're still young, so they can have a good attitude in helping the smoker. And the last is the management system in the health system. For example, if you have strong policy from the top leader that you want to see smoker quit more, and you would, if you are leader and you say that you want to see how well the hospital director perform in reduce smoking prevalence, something like that, all people will follow the policy. It depends on the top leader vision. So that is what I thought that we can promote. You can give incentive to doctor, to nurse, or you can give incentive to the universal coverage insurance in Thailand or in other countries. That if you give this kind of work, you can reimburse something like that.
If that become true, it will help a lot of people stop smoking. And for the audience, we have the Q&A section where you can chat and ask the question to Dr. Bundit, since he has many information to share with you. So please feel free to question him during his section. And also, I would like to ask you a few more questions while we're waiting for the audience to write our question. Based on your work, what is your future plan for this program?
I think, all questions are good. I think first is the knowledge dissemination. This study should be disseminated to both policy level, because even we think about stop smoking, but if you see that extensive tobacco or smoking prohibition in public place, and especially in the workplace, is helpful. It's convince the smoker to stop their smoking because it's convenient or it's less affordable for tobacco. So first, we have to disseminate this result to the policy makers. The second, we should educate the public. So the information is helpful both for the service provider in designing the program. They should teach the smoker to dealing with insomnia, something like this, or to have exercise plan. And then it's also helpful for normal people that they can advise their relatives, their friends, their spouse to stop smoking, or even smoker themselves. So dissemination of knowledge is very helpful. I think this is the next step of this study.
I mean, if you can use this information and make it into the detail, you can use it for the policy advocacy and also for the physician and health caretaker to use this method. We have a question from the audience. What are your most recommended for the smoking cessation method to achieve this end game?
I believe in complex solution. So I think based on our study, for sure, when we study the AID method, for example, medication or counseling. We should not like a look down self-cessation method and a method. If we promote every method like that, if you can come to get medicine, come. If you can get counseling, come. But if you would like to do by yourself, go ahead. So I think this is the best way. If we argue between, a method is better, we promote only a method, and a method is better, we promote only this, I think we have a conflict among service provider and smoker would be confused. But if you show that every method is good, but you have to have some technique for that, right? If you want medication, which medication is good? If you want counseling, what way is good? If you want to treat by themselves, it's possible. And what is the tactic? What is the technique? You should have done that. Not only, for example, if you tell a smoker to throw away the tobacco product during the nicotine withdrawal period, but you know what? The unsuccessful also throw away the tobacco product. So that is good way, but it's not the definite successful factor. The exercise during the nicotine withdrawal period is the best. So this is, for example, of the specific knowledge that we should give to the smoking fitter. So the best way is do everything, and it depends on what convenient for the smoker to keep.
So it seems you need to write out a big thick book in order to have a detail of every single method, right? For the unaided and aided, and also category on how the technique to choose. So will be
because the successful is conditional to the method that the smoker uses. And I think we should give credit to unaided method because for the real information is accessible. It's like a convenient for smokers to quit. Many smokers quit by themselves, so we should talking about this too. We should not talking only that, oh, you come to hospital. That is in reality, the accessibility is low.
So you recommend the health professionals to help promoting the unaided method because it's really...
Also, not only one.
We also have another question from the audience. From your experience, what is the most predicting factor for the successful cessation during COVID-19 pandemics? We know that COVID-19, right, is very difficult to do face-to-face. So what will be the best predicting factor?
Oh, I have no single answer. I think it's very new thing about the COVID, and I think COVID can, I'm not sure, it can see both ways. First is that the people are afraid of COVID, and they know that they might know that smoking might worsen the situation because the lung is worse, and they might think of smoke quitting. But in the other way, maybe if they stress of they cannot have social activity or they have problem of financial, they may use tobacco as the way out. So I don't have the evidence to say that COVID is helpful or not helpful. But I think certainly this COVID situation make patients difficult to go to hospital physically. So it promotes the people go to easier in the unaided method. So this is just my answer that the COVID might tend to promote the unaided method. So if the policymaker and all health professionals promote more of like a remote counseling instead of physical in-person counseling and also unaided method, I think this is an opportunity under the COVID situation.
Wow. Thank you very much, Dr. Bundit. I believe what you present to us and also based on your recommendation, it will not only help Thailand having more Cessation people, but also other countries too. So please, I'm very happy to have you in this section. So thank you very much.
Thank you too, and wish all the best, and all the country can reduce their smoking prevalence.
Thank you very much.